Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome.
Today. I'm Taylor Jackson.
I'm Tim Musa.
And we are getting coffee. And we will be talking about lenses we use for wedding photography.
Mm-hmm.
That was a weird way to say that. Wedding photography. What do you use? What's your favorite thing right now?
Right now it's the 35 Sigma for Nikon Art 1.4.
Yeah.
I like it for pretty much everything. From getting ready to portraits to ceremony coverage.
And Lindsay tried to steal it yesterday. Or Lindsay tried to trade you against your will.
Well, we were shooting in a venue that was like a restaurant, and they had very limited space. She was shooting with her 50, as she does, which is also the Sigma Art series. And so I have my 35. Beautiful thing about that lens is you can punch in the DX mode and just get a 50 from the same lens.
Yeah.
Which is like just the most convenient thing. But she needed a bit more space. She needed a bit more, I guess, breadth or width to her photos. Is that the right term?
Yeah.
So I just gave her my 35 for the day, and she shot almost everything on that. And then we got home, and I realized I still had her 50, so I brought it.
That's great.
If you want to stop at your place maybe after.
Sure. Did you take yours home?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I didn't take mine. She still has mine.
All right. I'll bring that to her. That's very funny.
Groovy.
A little bit of a dip.
Mm-hmm. Whoop. Yeah, so I use that and the 7200, and I find that's mostly what I use on a wedding day.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like I still use the same things that I used when I was first getting started a long, long time ago, which is an 85 and a 24 now, or sometimes a 35.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all. And then ceremony, I'm usually on the 7200 just because the Nikon 7200 FL is like the greatest lens in the world.
It's pretty magical.
And I'm sad that if I do switch to Sony that I will have to not use that lens. So I might keep like my 850 just to shoot the actual ceremony with for so I can use that lens.
Yeah.
Because it is really that good.
We haven't tried the other one. You don't know.
Yeah, but
It might be just as well.
I don't know.
Sony does make some pretty sweet products. So.
I'm gonna say it's pretty good. I'm gonna say it's on par with the VR2 version. So like the older version.
Okay.
I just like the FL because it's so light.
It's very light. Yeah.
And it's also just like incredible as far as how it renders colors and everything. It feels like you're just shooting a prime lens, like an 85, but you have like the zoom range of a 7200.
Mm-hmm.
And then I recently got into the 24mm f1.8 for Nikon. Instead of the 1.4, the 1.4 is like a super nice lens, but I thought that it was a little too expensive because I think in Canada it's like $2,500 to purchase the 24 f1.4. So I got the 1.8, and it's lighter, so I'm into that, and it's I would say it's just as good. I haven't noticed anything like crazy and wild happening, so I don't really know why they made that lens so good if they're trying to sell the 1.4, which I'm okay with.
Huh.
And then I also use as a wide the Tamron 35 that you also used. So I still like it. Mine is still very good in comparison to the Sigma. Yours,
Mine has to be taken to a factory to be calibrated, and I don't have time to do that.
So you just bought a new lens.
So I just bought a different 35.
And
I wanted to buy into the art series for a while.
Yeah.
And this was a good excuse.
All right.
I still use it for video because I do all my focus manually. The reason that it's broken, or not broken, it doesn't work well, is it can't be calibrated to be auto fine-tuned for fine-tuned for autofocus.
Okay.
Something's broken inside of it, or
it's actually broken.
It's not. No, it's not broken. It's a older firmware edition that needs to be taken to a factory to be reset.
That's so annoying.
Which is because even if you have the dock,
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. So that's
that
not
sucks.
as fun, but it's still really good for video because it's stabilized. Just not good for dual coverage.
Yeah, it was what I shot the entire Porsche road trip on. Was that 35, and like the first day I used all kinds of lenses, and the second day I used just that lens, and then I just stayed with only that lens for the rest of like the next 7 days or whatever, and I loved it. It's such a small little compact package for video. Passing the beautiful Capers, the finest bar in all of Kitchener-Waterloo, Ontario.
The Vidyard compound.
Yeah. I did the engagement shoot around here yesterday, and as soon as you like start walking anywhere downtown, everybody wants to be your friend.
But only for money.
Only for money and cigarettes. But everybody wants to be your friend instantly, and I met so many people within like 5 minutes.
Oh, that's funny.
And then we tried like the side wallet capers is actually like kind of cool. It's like white, but it has some like kind of grit to it, like a lot of downtown Kitchener does.
Yeah.
But as soon as we started using it, like 5 dudes came into the bar and were just like watching my couple, which doesn't really make the
Comfortable.
most comfortable. It was also like the first location too, so if it would have been like the end of the shoot, maybe it would have been a little better, but
Icebreaker. Not a great.
yeah, it's
not a
not.
great
It's
start.
the opposite of what you really want to do.
Yeah.
For a first location. And then I guess like the other lenses that I used last year a lot that I've gotten rid of is the 28 millimeter 1.4, which is a really, really incredible lens. The problem is that it's just so damn heavy.
Yeah.
That it's almost weighs as much as my 7200. So to have like an extra 7200 in your bag when you're carrying it around all day, it's kind of just annoying.
It's heavy.
Even though the optical quality is there. So I guess I chose convenience. I think that's how I choose travel kit as well, that I would rather use something that's maybe like not the top quality, but kind of use a workaround. So like maybe stop it down a little bit to maintain the same quality, to save on size and weight and space, because I don't know, I'm more about the convenience of things.
You're an efficiencies man, Taylor. I've noticed that about you. You'd rather have things go really smoothly and really easily than carry around like a massive rig
Yeah.
or like insane amount of lenses.
I don't want to do that.
No, you're not a rolly case man. You're an
No.
over-the-shoulder cowboy
Yeah.
when it comes to weddings. I
But,
don't want to.
but it's funny. Over the shoulder cowboy. Write that. That's my new copy material for my website. But then, like, the funny thing is that, well, I can shoot things that are a little bit smaller. Lindsay, when she's shooting, no one will take her seriously as a main shooter
It's so sad.
if she doesn't have a gigantic camera. So
Sad. This.
unfortunately, she
society
has
we
to
live in.
use like the big camera things. And yeah, well, you second with her. Like, how many times do people go up to her versus you to like ask a photography question?
Constantly. Constantly.
So they think that you're the main. It's the same reason I can't use my dad as a second shooter.
Your dad?
Yeah, he wants to do it, and I'm like, I want to bring you out, and it would be super fun. But to have somebody that is like physically older in age by that much to be a second photographer, everyone will just assume that he's the main photographer.
I'll bring Bill out.
All right, do
I'll
it.
I'll have Bill shoot for me. That'd be
Yeah.
fantastic. That'd be a lot of fun. We can talk about rock bands he's seen. We can talk about different golf courses he's worked at. Oh, it'll be a great time.
All right.
I'm okay
Hiring
with
my
it.
dad.
I'm okay with it. Hiring Bill. What does he shoot with?
He doesn't have a digital camera, so that's another reason.
All right, that's fair.
So, good luck.
Bill's becoming a bit of a problem already.
Yeah, he shot an AE1 for a bunch of years.
That's a Sony?
It
No.
is a
What-
Canon non-manual focus or manual focus thing.
Okay.
Where do you park for this?
You can park anywhere here. All right, this is for us.
We're kind of attached, so we can't both go.
No,
Or do we continue the podcast in Smile Tiger?
we could do that.
We decided that it is not the most easiest to podcast within a coffee shop that's open with music and also light. And also we had nowhere to really affix the GoPro.
True.
So we're back in the car, driving to Tim's house. And where were we in this conversation, Tim? Sorry to put you on the spot.
We were at efficiencies.
Oh, yes.
We were
And
at
heavy lenses.
and Lindsay dealing with,
Yeah, and my dad not
your
second
father.
shooting for me.
That's right.
Because of that he would be seen as the main, which is fine. But also because he doesn't really have a camera.
It's also a problem, I
That's
guess.
also a challenge. The other lens that I loved that was way too heavy as well is the 105 1.4 as well, which is like one of the nicest Nikon lenses, but same deal. It's like it's a little bit too long to have on like a main body all day.
Yeah.
Because I feel like at 85, I'm like kind of on that limit that if I was to even use like a 90 all day, I feel like that would be too much and not super useful. But I feel like 85 I can work with all day, which is why I kind of use that as my main lens pretty much all day. But yeah, that it's like such a nice lens, but it's just so hard to carry around all day, unfortunately. So
Do you find that you branch out and you try different lenses on wedding days just to see if you like it? Like, how often do you
Yeah.
do that in your career? Or have you done that in your career?
Well, thanks to the guys at BJ Photo that we use, they're pretty cool with if I buy a lens and I don't, like if I use it for a wedding day, usually I go in there on like the Saturday morning. And if I don't love it, they're usually okay with me returning it for like a little bit of a fee. So it's kind of like a rental fee, and then they sell it as like an open box, and they explain what happened, why this is an open box, and usually people are cool with it because usually they're at least aware of me, and they're like, oh, like I've seen at least a video of him not tracking
I watched
his
him
gear.
using that in a video.
Or that.
He didn't drop it, so.
And then I also used in one of my full wedding days, I used a 135 f1.8, the Sigma.
Okay.
Which is also an awesome lens, but again, like a little bit too long and a little bit too heavy to just kind of like have as an extra lens to be carrying around all day.
Got it.
So those primes are awesome, but unfortunately, not really something that I'm going to have around with me all day.
Right.
I'd rather have something like a 35 and 85 and a 24, and that's like, I don't know, that's a smaller kit to kind of carry around all day.
One lens that we've neglected to mention that we use on pretty much every wedding day that we shoot together is the Tamron 15 to 35.
Oh yeah.
We're just getting wide room shots.
It's true.
It's almost a fisheye. It's
that's
insane.
your that's basically one of your jobs to
carry around this heavy lens. It's basically, it looks like a cine lens. It looks like a Cook lens. It's huge. It's like this big, and it's got a dome on it that looks like it could be a mountain. I've never had a problem with it back focusing. It's seemingly super sharp. It does obviously distort around the edges
because
so
it's 15.
It's not great for anything other than getting things that are a meter away from you.
And it's a very kind of one use. It's like literally for like two photos. And I've found that like exterior shots, I actually like doing them more with like a 7200 rather than shooting wide. Like for like shooting landscapes, for shooting buildings, you'd be like, oh yes, like I need to shoot wide, but I usually just like walk across the parking lot and use a longer lens. And I don't know, I find that the overall look and feel of that image is better than something with like too much foreground. It's a little bit more effort, but I think the effort is worth it.
You just park far away.
Yeah, just drive by, just like window down, and that's that'd be pretty funny to see. And then I guess it's not really a lens, but I also bring a drone whenever we do video stuff as well. That I like quite a lot for actually taking pictures now.
Which drone are you on now, Taylor? Which is which version of?
I liked my Spark, but unfortunately it is on a rooftop in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic right now. I believe it's on the Hard Rock rooftop.
Okay. So
the reason that I loved it is also the reason that I lost it. And it was because I could control it from my phone. Whereas the Mavic, the grain pattern in the Mavic is just like really weird.
Yes.
I think it's a very strange product because yours is,
mine
didn't do anything to it, and for some reason it's now a tilt shift drone.
It's pretty fantastic. I like it for that reason, that it's different, and it's not, like all my stuff, it's a little bit broken. That's not true.
35.
My drone. No, but it creates a tilt shift effect in lens, I guess.
Yep.
That I've never seen in a drone, and I probably will never see again. So I'm never going to sell it. I'm going to use it for that purpose. I'll probably get a Spark because I need some shots that are kind of.
It seems like they've solved the issues.
And that's what, $600, $700?
I don't even know. Probably something like that.
It's drop in the hat.
But for like to get a thing that like flies through the air and takes pictures, I'd say that's like pretty incredible technology to have for whatever the cost, because it's going to be around like $1,000 max, I would say.
And just to be clear for anyone watching who is a potential client, Taylor's or mine, drone footage isn't really something to use for portraits ever. I've seen some people do a really good job with it, but I find it's better just for establishing shots. And
I won't fly, just with my history with them and random magnetic interference. I just won't fly them around people because I don't trust them not to just like randomly fly in some direction
and murder someone.
Exactly. Yep. Bit of a wild corner here. So and even when clients request it, I kind of just shy away from it. I'll use it for venue shots and for venue photos. I really love doing kind of the landscape photos with it because it's a pretty unique perspective that nobody else really gets. And even if somebody does a drone like video, the chances of you doing even a remotely similar flight path are pretty pretty slim, I find. But yeah, I don't fly around people. So what's happened to my my first, or I guess not my first drone. The first drone that we ever had, we actually borrowed from my friend Matt Scoble, and we took it to Italy.
The Bebop.
And yeah, the Parrot Bebop, the original.
What a great name. They've really gone downhill.
Super fun.
The Parrot Bebop.
The Mavic Parrot Bebop. And basically, like, I put it up. We were over like this beautiful like winery. Also, the footage from the Parrot Bebop was garbage. And the wind just started pushing it. And because I guess it didn't have a GPS, so it didn't know where like it was, it just got pushed and it just like flew into a tree. And there's a kill switch, and I'm like, do I hit the kill switch, or is like, and I'm trying to like go up in the air so at least like I missed the trees.
Yep.
And then I got caught in the tree, and then we threw rocks and stuff at it for like a little while, and eventually gave up. I think Marshall caught himself throwing like a beer bottle that we found to try to knock this drone out of the tree.
No, poor Marshall.
So I lost that one there, and then I lost the one in Patagonia.
Yep.
Which I think makes the most sense for like magnetic interference, because you are kind of in a polar-ish region at least. So it popped up on my screen. It was a Mavic, and it just popped up and it was like, hey, like magnetic interference. And I was like, what does that mean? And then it just started like the path that it was on, it just kept going in, and it flew right into a wall. But luckily it flew into a wall directly above me.
So you were able to salvage the footage?
Yeah, I was able to recover the footage, which was incredible.
Just incredible.
That did take some time. You have to like process it through a program, like a command line thing that I found online. But I got that, and then I lost a Spark like a month ago.
Oh.
Same deal, magnetic interference. And when you're controlling from your phone, like at least the Mavic, I would have had a little bit of kind of recovery time that I could have been like, hey, like I see where it is now, and I'm gonna save it, I'm gonna bring it back. But with the Spark, as soon as it's like basically out of your field of seeing, it's just kind of gone.
It's too small, and it's too...
Yeah, and then I did the Find My Drone thing, and it said that it was on top of the Hard Rock Cafe in Punta Cana, so very sad.
Yeah.
But also, now I just fly like super early in the morning, because I know that things like that happen, and I don't want to fly into people ever.
Yeah. Also, you don't want a crowd.
Yeah, drone friends.
Yeah.
I really do want to make that video.
Drone friends?
Yeah. So, like, you know, like whenever as soon as you start flying, as soon as you take off, like two like dudes just always are like,
oh, is that a drone?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think it happens much anymore. I think it happened a lot in the early stages.
Sure.
And it was always super funny that like by the end of like a 20-minute flight, there'd be like 6 people like all crowded around you, like looking at your screen. But
it's just a built-in sales funnel. If you buy a drone, people can be like, how much is that?
yeah.
And then you see them doing the math in their head, like, oh, I could afford that.
Yeah, I could fly a thing.
Yeah.
So that is a pretty good funnel.
Yeah.
Because all of Lindsay's family now has one. After like...
They all do?
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
That's weird.
All right.
After Mexico. Anyway, yeah.
Let's wrap it up.
This has been podcast, talking about wedding lenses.
Wedding Lens Podcast that we still don't really have a name for. We're just calling it the Tuesday Photo Podcast.
I'm down with that.
Welcome to Tuesday. Thank you to everyone that signed up for the Patreon. Yesterday, a video came out that is all of my, where all my leads come from, which is kind of interesting. I think I never really added up, or at least in the past couple of years, where everything comes from. So I want to detail a little bit about kind of like how I get more Instagram inquiries and more social media inquiries and things like that. So
Taylor's drone
in that.
Yeah, Taylor's drone sales funnel.
Yes,
for weddings.
The wedding sales funnel. So basically, it just kind of went through everything that I do, and hopefully that is helpful to you guys. So thank you for being part of that, and we'll see you next week. Same car, maybe.
Different coffee.
Same car, different coffee. That's the name of the podcast now.